Hi everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Crystal and welcome to my April reading wrap up. Just some quick reading stats. I read 5 books, well, almost 5 books, but I'll get to that by the end of the video. I had chosen 5 books for the month of April. 3 of them are romance, 1 is a thriller, and 1 is a romantasy. Without further ado, let's get into the books. First book that I read is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. It's no secret that this one was really highly anticipated for me because I love Abby Jimenez's writing. One of my top favorite romance books ever is from her, and it's yours truly. That one is like, at this point, really unmatched. I don't know what could top that one. When this one came out, I just knew that I couldn't wait to get to it. I pretty much read it as soon as it came out. And I'm not disappointed with this one. I gave this one 4 stars, which obviously is a great rating. It's not a perfect 5-star rating, and that's only because I just didn't feel like I connected to these characters or loved these characters as much as the characters in yours truly. I mean, just like, I don't know who's gonna top Bree and Jacob for me. They're just not up on this pedestal like so high. I guess a close second would probably be Emma and Justin from Just from the Summer. I really love them too. Those are probably like my top 2 couples. That would be all like for a whole other video, is to rank all of my favorite couples and like in what order that I love them all in from all of the Abby Jimenez books. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent about other books. We're talking about this one. Just a brief description of this one. This one is following Samantha and Xavier. First of all, I'm going to start off by just saying that Abby Jimenez delivered exactly how I expected when it comes to like the meet cute. There's always some like really unique way that the main characters meet. And again, this one delivered with that. They ended up meeting because Samantha ended up finding a sweet, adorable little kitten that needed some care, and she ended up going into Xavier's office because he's a veterinarian. Xavier is a veterinarian, and Samantha actually works from home for a mustard company, which I thought was just like, it's just so different and unique. Abby's so good with coming up with very unique characters. They ended up meeting because she had to bring her kitten in. Xavier was just, I guess, just having a really bad day. I don't want to give away too much information because you just got to read the book. He was just really feeling off, just not in a good mood, and he ended up rubbing Samantha completely the wrong way, and she thought that he was just such a jerk. It just seems like at first, like, how are they going to end up becoming a couple? Everything ends up like working out where the two of them have this amazing first date. It turns out that Samantha, right after they end up having this great date and they feel like so connected and they really feel like they really like each other, they have this amazing chemistry. And Samantha has to break the news. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, even though we just met and we had like the greatest first date ever, I actually have to move to California to be with my mom and be there for her with my family. I have to be support because my mom's not doing well. And it just goes from there. I will say that the main trope for this is a long distance. So there's just like so many problems and issues that come with that. There's so many hardships. The overall tone of this book, unfortunately, there were some parts that were very difficult to read. It's no surprise with Abby's books. She usually always brings just real life situations along with the romance. But I will say, out of all of her books that I've read, aside from Life's Too Short, because that one really got me too, I was bawling during reading that one. This one has some heavy topics in it. It will really make you feel a lot of different emotions. The overall tone of this book was kind of sad with just what Samantha was dealing with and watching her mother's illness or her condition progressively get worse. It was very difficult to read at times. And then also hearing about Xavier and how he was brought up, his childhood, just the cards that he's been dealt with, like the fact that he ended up becoming a successful veterinarian is amazing. There is another side character that I absolutely love. It made me cry. I literally was crying, just like, it was just so sweet. There's so many really good emotional parts. There are still, of course, some really hilarious parts of the book too. I don't want you to think that it's all completely sad, but as always, Abby delivered. There was happy times, sad times, just a lot of emotional depth. There's a lot of character development, and it was just really nice to see how these characters, even though they really had their own things going on, they both have busy lives, but they really continue to show up for each other and put that effort in to make this relationship work. If you're looking for an emotional read, a deeply emotional read, a good romance, pick this up. All right, so the next book that I picked up is The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. And I remember saying in my TBR video for April that I didn't really hear much hype about this one, so I really wasn't sure what to expect going into this. And I will say that I was really pleasantly surprised by how much I loved this one. I did rate this one 4.5 stars, 4.5 stars. It just wasn't like that perfect 5-star feeling for me. Just like I said, Abby delivered with what we typically expect from her. I feel like 100% Jessa Hastings delivered too, with the writing that people have come to love, her poetic writing, her metaphors, just the way that she's able to write such complex characters and write such wonderful stories, like such a beautiful story. And it's just what we've come to know and love from the Magnolia Park series. And I should say that there was a mention of one of the characters from the Daisy Haight story in this book. So I thought that was really cool and worth mentioning. This is another one I was like, wow, my first book was sad, and there were a lot of sad parts of the story that will have you probably tearing up too. If you have a heart, you will definitely feel really sad during some of this book. Again, I really loved how unique this story was. I feel like this is very different from anything I've ever read. And I love that when I read a Jessa Hastings romance, I feel like it's so different than a typical romance that you would read. Brief description on this one. Again, it's very unique because it's following Georgia Carter. She is currently residing in London, but she's from South Carolina. She's originally from the South. She was born and raised in a Southern family, a Southern wealthy family. Something happens with the family where there's this big falling out between Georgia and one of her siblings and the parents, and they end up, when she's a teen, sending her away to go to school in London. And so a lot of time goes by. She doesn't really talk to many of her family members, but she did grow up really close with one of her brothers. So she has 3 siblings, 1 sister and 2 brothers. One of the brothers she was really close with, and the other 2 siblings she didn't really talk to. A lot of years go by of her just doing her own thing. She's in London. She's kind of like starting this life there, making friends there, and that's like her found family. She ends up getting this call from her sister, her strange sister, saying that her father passed away and she needs to come home and obviously attend his services and be there. It's very awkward for Georgia. She's like, I haven't talked to these people in a really long time. I really don't have much to say to them. So she comes back and she ends up kind of reconnecting with her brother that she was close with, Oliver, who happens to be gay, and he is a recovering alcoholic. And while he went to AA, his sponsor is named Sam, who is apparently this like gorgeous man. He is like apparently was an alcoholic as well. And he ends up becoming his sponsor and being like there for him and getting him through recovery and everything like that. So it ends up becoming like this love triangle thing almost too, because she ends up meeting Sam through Oliver, her brother Oliver, and she ends up getting feelings for him. It's kind of like she has a crush on him, and you know, that's like the love interest for her in the story. But then Oliver, oddly enough, has a thing for Sam as well, and Georgia feels like put in this weird position, like, I really care about my brother Oliver. I don't want to hurt him, but I really like Sam too. There's the romance. There's also like a mystery part to the story that I won't talk about because that would be a major spoiler. And there's tons of family drama in this. When I was honestly more interested in the family drama part of the book, even more so than the romance, even though the romance did really get good towards the end of the book. I really ended up enjoying Sam and Georgia together as a couple too. It was great. I just feel like this was overall really good and very emotional, a very emotional, deep read. And side note, I really liked the cover. Her covers are always so unique. I really love her covers. And I thought the pages were even really cool. They're like rough cut pages or whatever, and I love a floppy paperback. Love a floppy paperback. So really enjoyed this one. 4.5 stars, highly recommend. But check trigger warnings though, because there are heavy topics in this one that might not be for everyone to read. Still loved it. Enjoyed. All right, so the next book I picked up was a really quick and easy read. It's a thriller and it's none other than The Perfect Divorce by Jeneva Rose. This one is the second book and apparently a series. I did find out for sure that this is the second in the series. The first one was The Perfect Marriage by her, and this one is just continuing with some of the main characters from the first one. And the main character that we're still following is Sarah Morgan, who is the defense attorney. This was like I said, a quick and easy read. This was about like 300 pages. There were some parts that were thrilling. It was very suspenseful in some parts. This wasn't a perfect 5-star, even though I did really enjoy Jeneva Rose's writing. I'm gonna start off with the positive. Jeneva Rose's writing is very good. I always feel really entertained by her writing. I definitely was shocked a little bit about like the plot twist or like where the story went. I wasn't really expecting that. We get quite a few different point of views in this story. So it's not just Sarah's point of view. We get several point of views. There's one like mystery point of view that I thought was interesting. Biggest reason after I started with the positive, like the negative, why it's only a 3-star. If I didn't mention that, I gave it 3 stars because I just found the main characters very insufferable. I mean, I get like a lot of times with thriller books, that typically is what happens. I just feel like a lot of times with thrillers, it's more often than not, several of the characters are insufferable for me. Sometimes I'll read a thriller and I'm like, I don't really care about what happens to these characters. I don't feel as invested as I do with romance. And so that's the case with this one. Love her writing, did not love the main characters, did not really feel so emotionally invested or care what was going to happen to any of them, which maybe is like a blessing in disguise because it was like really easy to read, because there's some thrillers where I actually do care about the characters and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can get through this and I don't want anything bad to happen to like my favorites. But this one, I was like, I don't really care what happens, but I still love the writing. If you're looking for a quick popcorn thriller, it's not too heavy, it's not too crazy or deep or anything like that. It's not going to have you scared to go to bed at night. Pick this up because I do really love her writing. Okay, the next book that I can't wait to talk to you guys about is one highly anticipated. It's a romantasy. I'm just gonna get to the point. It's Fearless by Lauren Roberts. Just a brief description in case you haven't heard of the Powerless series, which I feel like by now, like everyone's heard of Powerless and knows a little bit of what it's about. This one again has been compared to the Hunger Games for the trials aspect. It is mostly romance, I want to say. It's not as like heavy on the fantasy. It's not super hard to understand or to follow, which I loved. Of course, I absolutely loved that in this book as well, along with the first one, you get dual point of view. It is based in the kingdom of Elia. There are the elites, which are characters in the book that have powers, and then there's the ordinaries, the ones that don't have any power. And the reason why there's people with powers in the first place is there's like this big plague that sweeps through the kingdom, and after the plague there were many that died, but the ones that survived either ended up having like these special abilities or powers, and then the rest were just considered ordinaries. They were just that. They were ordinary. They didn't have any powers. And the king had proclaimed that if you are an ordinary, you are going to be banished. You shouldn't be a part of the kingdom. You don't deserve to live, which is obviously really messed up. Peyton, the main character, was an ordinary. She was raised by her father to pose as a psychic. He helped train her from a little kid and until she grew up. She's a great fighter, and she had passed off as a psychic for many years and kind of like was under the radar. No one really knew that she was an ordinary until she ends up meeting Kai, one of the king's sons, and he is considered the enforcer, where literally his job is to get rid of the ordinaries. If he finds an ordinary, that's his job, to kill them, to execute them. So it's just really interesting. Obviously, this is a whole like enemies to lovers type of plot. And from the very first one, I was immediately obsessed with the book. I loved it. I loved to go through the trials and all the tension between the main characters. Something happens where they went from the banter and kind of like really falling for each other to then become enemies again. And then something happens at the end of the second one that is literally stopping Peyton and Kai from being together. You'll find out if you read it what it is. I definitely recommend you read the series. Please pick it up if you're even remotely interested. If you're just a romance girly and you think you might try to get into fantasy, pick it up because I think it's so easy to follow and you'll love it. Out of this book, there's just like more tension. They're actually, I don't want to give too much away, but there are trials in this one again, which I found very interesting, and that's what I loved about the first one. There's just so much going on. There's a lot of action. We're actually hearing from a lot of characters that were in the second book, and then part of the novella. We're gonna get a lot of answers in this book for what the heck was going on. A lot of twists that were from the first two that finally we get answers for in this one. If I didn't say it already, this is a 5-star. Like the entire series is a 5-star series. I absolutely love Lauren Roberts' writing. This didn't change, but This book is very sad. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to give anything away, obviously, why it's sad, but I felt like my heart was broken a little bit because of some of the stuff that happened in this book. We know that Peyton's been through a lot, though. If you did read the first two, you know Peyton's already been through a lot. She's been basically dragged through the mud with so much heartbreak and she's lost a lot. And the fact that she's still standing is amazing, and it's just a test of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, because she's been through so much and she's still trying to survive out there. It's nice to see how much character development Peyton and Kai both have in this story. I love them both. Any little crumb that I can get, any little breadcrumb I can get of like the romance or just any scenes that have Peyton and Kai in it, I absolutely loved. I wasn't sick of it. I disagree with some of the comments that they were so tired of any scenes with Kai and Kai being a poet or what. I loved it. I thought it was great. To sum it up, I know I always end up yapping too much about the Powerless series, but it's for a good reason, because I just love it. My opinion is still the same. I love the books. Powerless is probably always going to be my favorite of all of them. Powerless is definitely up there as my favorite, but I love every last one of them. I love them all. Highly recommend. 5 stars. So revisiting what I said in the beginning of this video, that I technically had 5 books on my TBR, but I did only get through 4 and like a half, because I'm still working on Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. So I didn't want to mention that and touch base and talk about this one. I did start this one, but I'm not finished with it yet, and I am thoroughly enjoying it so far. I will include this one if I do a May reading wrap up, what I think about this one. I have a good feeling about it. I have a good feeling it's going to be a 5 star. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you today. That wraps up today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I had fun as usual, just yapping about my favorite books and my thoughts. Please let me know, as usual, guys, if you've read any of these books and what you think, or if you're going to be picking any of these up. I just want to know all the things. Thank you, as always, for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a like. Please subscribe if you want to see more from me. And I can't wait to see you guys in my next video.